down. Okay, someone type it in the chat. If you are always focused on the now, you will forever be stuck in the now. You will always be stuck in the now. Do not make that mistake. Okay, let's keep you moving. All right, next key insight is you have to not be a product in search of a prospect. When you are a product in search of a prospect, you are a transactional thinker at best. Again, you're living in the now, and you are busy trying to sell a thing to a person instead of drawing somebody into your world who can be a lifelong journey taker with you, someone who can be on the path and in the know with you, somebody who is designed to buy all the things you sell instead of somebody who's just going to buy the one thing that you're selling today. Is that something you want? Am I speaking to the right people? Tell me, I make sure I know that I'm in the right room. Hey, is that the reality that you want? It should be. I tell you what, life is a lot easier when that is your reality. Okay. The compound effect, we talked about it with Megan in the basketball environment, right? The compound effect of lasting is huge. It is huge. Okay. You don't have to be great in the moment. It's interesting because, I don't know how many LeBron James fans there are out there versus Michael Jordan. I know there's a great debate, and we're not going to get into that. Although if you think LeBron James is the GOAT, you're wrong. It's Michael Jordan, but we won't get into that discussion today. That discussion for another day. But here's the beauty. What makes LeBron relevant in that conversation today is that he just finished his 22nd season in the National Basketball Association. Now, I think the league is falling apart and not anywhere near what it used to be. However, to be an NBA professional basketball player, you got to be a world-class athlete. You have to be in great shape. You have to have so many things going right for you. And just to get a drink of a cup of coffee, as they call it, in the pros, not much less be in there for 22, now going on his 23rd season. The compound effect of lasting has this guy in the discussion inappropriately with the GOAT, Michael Jordan, right? But it's because he lasts. He has a compound effect of staying power. And the longer you stay, the longer you last, the more you get recognized, the more you get identified, the more you get associated with being good at what you do. And the funny thing is, there don't even have to be facts and evidence. There's just a lot of assumptions. In order for you to assume that LeBron James must be good at this because he's in the league for 22 years, you would have to make a lot of assumptions and largely be correct, because you couldn't fake it for 22 years and still be a starter and an all-star and great at what you do. There's evidence of the fact that because you have been in this league so long, it's because you have continued to deliver well, even if somebody hasn't watched him play and has tangible evidence that he's playing well. So if you've been in your category doing it for a long time, doing it well, doing it pre-COVID, doing it post-COVID, doing it in person, doing it online, people just assume that you must have figured some things out, and you get the compound effect of lasting, and you get feathers in your cap, and appropriately so. You've earned it. Right now, we just want to make sure that you're able to share the compound effect of lasting with other people. Okay, so when it comes to delivering and creating a mountaintop experience in your world, okay, a mountaintop experience in your world, there are 4 key pillars. The 4 proven pillars, as I've just named them yesterday, is to number 1. First pillar is you must identify the mountaintop experience in your world. What's the mountaintop experience in your world? Type it in the chat. What is the mountaintop experience? Meaning the pinnacle. It just doesn't get any better. It could get better next year after you figure something else out and you become somebody new and solve a new problem or do something else. But as of this moment in your world, what's the best possible outcome somebody can achieve? That's your mountaintop experience. For us, it's a class of 1 sellable business, a business that you can sell for a profit or keep for pleasure. Either one, we don't care. It's just the most pleasurable, profitable business you're ever going to run is one that's ready to sell. So that's always the journey that we are moving people on. That is the mountaintop experience in our world. What's yours? Okay. So yeah, type yours in the chat. Identify. I'd love to hear it because I want to know what you guys have going on. So we're going to keep moving though here, but make sure that you're typing this stuff in the chat, especially any questions come up, put them in the chat and write them down because we'll do Q&A when we're done. All right. So next, proven path pillar 2. You got to identify the clear benchmarks along the way. Okay, for us, class of 1, sellable business. That's mountaintop experience. A best-in-class business is a benchmark along the way. First benchmark for us, we work with world-class businesses or those who desire to be. It's like clearly benchmarks. And we've got a lot of descriptions and identifiers along the way. And I'll show you some of those in a minute. But what are the benchmarks that are identifiable that people can say, yes, I want those and I want that. And even though the mountaintop experience may take 5 years, it may take 10 years, I don't know, for whatever you're going to do for somebody. But they can have identifiable metrics along the way to know that they are gaining success along the way to the mountaintop experience. Okay, what are those things for you? Right? So proven path pillar number 3 is to be clear on which problems you solve and which ones you don't, or more importantly, won't. Anybody solve problems right now that you don't want to have to solve? Just because it's part of your business? Yeah, right? Our daughter, she's a nurse now. She went back to nursing school and got her nursing degree and all of that. But for a while, she was a trainer, because she was a college athlete, all that. So it was an easy transition for her to just train people, to be a physical trainer at gyms. And part of that was teaching people nutrition, which she hated. She didn't enjoy it. It wasn't a fun part of what she did. She preferred the workout aspect to doing things. But being a nutritionist was kind of part of the job. So she did it even though it wasn't necessarily what she wanted to do, right? Had she been doing that now, as a business, she could have done the physical part, partnered with somebody else to do the nutrition part, right? Bring in other people so that she wouldn't have to deliver that. Brian Ludwig, he's an accountant, a cross-border accountant. So if you're in Canada or in the US, you need to see the guy, right? Because he knows how to help you win in both countries and be smart. But he also has a bookkeeping division. And I know bookkeeping isn't the most exciting part of his job, right? But he can partner with other bookkeeping services so that he can do the tax planning or he can do the CPA work while somebody else does the bookkeeping, right? So there's always pieces of what you do in your day-to-day task that you maybe don't want to do. But the other part to think about is, here's an example of what a journey in our world looks like, okay? Class of 1 sellable business. That's how you win in our world. That's the ultimate journey that we're on. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of stops along the way, right? We work with world-class businesses or those who want to be. Typically, year 1 activities are not super exciting. You're not scaling for exit. You're learning how to make great offers. You're learning how to attract the right buyers. Your messaging is on point. We're getting easier conversions, more of the right people to show up. You're getting more consistent lead flow. None of this is exciting, but it's necessary. For you to be a world-class business, you got to be able to generate revenue. You got to have profit. You got to be able to know how to convert anytime you need it to bring revenue in the door. Right? Then we start moving people towards best in class once they start having consistent revenue, because it takes money to scale and grow a business. So we need you to have revenue. Then we can start adding automation, buying assets, designing a lifetime value in a journey, more increased visibility, better branding, right? Recruiting team, etc. And as you can imagine, there are a ton of things inside of here, and we do a lot of them. And we have partners who do a lot of them also, because some of them we either aren't necessarily the best at, or we just have zero interest in dealing with it, right? We're not a marketing company. We don't want to be. I don't want to create ads for you. I don't want to manage ads for you, right? There's certain things we don't want to do. We have other people like Adrian Boisel and Brand Butler, who is a branding expert, who lives and breathes in this world. And so he is our branding partner. We know a lot about it and we're good at it. We just don't have the systems and the processes and the structures to deliver those, because we're way too busy building systems, processes, and structures to scale sales teams, right? And so we can't take on everything. And so we bring on world-class partners. And so you have to be clear about what problems you will solve and what problems you won't or don't solve. And don't ever feel guilty about any of it. Just stick to the stuff that you want to do, but be very clear that people in your world will need solutions beyond what you do. Once you solve their problem, they now have a new problem. Everybody aware of that? Okay, type it in the chat, write this down. Every solution comes with it a new problem at a bigger level. You help me lose weight? Guess what? I got to buy pants. You've given me a new problem, right? It's just the reality. Every time you solve a lead problem, they now have a conversion problem. You can have a conversion problem, you now have fulfillment problems. You have fulfillment problems, you probably have compliance and legal problems, and maybe personnel problems. There's always something. It's a never-ending journey. And the more you're aware of the ecosystem that you've created by solving problems for people, the better you can design a lifetime journey with all of the right people involved. Right? We are part of the lifetime journey for some of you, right? And vice versa. So you just have to be really clear about all of that. So I want to give you that visual. So we've seen it. Most of you have seen this. And if you haven't, then good. Take notes, take a picture, and do what you got to do. But this is the journey that you are creating and that we are going to be creating at the workshop. Okay. Pillar number 4, as we are moving down this year, the proven path pillar number 4. You got to be really clear about the ways in which you can monetize. How are you going to charge people for what you do? And there's a number of ways. This is our pricing models. It's an exercise. It's something we do, we live in. We have certain contracts that allow us to be able to monetize in all of these different ways. Some deals monetize 1 or 2 different ways, right? But you have to be thinking about the things that you do and what things can get an upfront fee, what things can get a monthly retainer, which things can have a tail, which things compensate on milestones or performances, what can deliver monthly recurring revenue, etc. And every once in a while, you're going to hit the jackpot and you're going to find a client that you can monetize in all of these ways, right? And those are things we can help you do, and we will work with some of that at the workshop as well. But you need to be thinking this. This is one of the key pillars to designing lifetime journeys. What things can you do that just will add a little bit extra value that people would pay for? It's really that simple. What problems are you solving? The key to all of this, Cindy's been driving this one home, and she said it first in our world, but it's in my head all the time. You have to obsess over your clients' problems. Obsess over your clients' problems. If you obsess, type the word obsess in the chat. Obsess. That's a little bit more than just think about once in a while. That means obsess. You should spend all of your time thinking about all of the problems your clients have, and you will never run out of ways to solve them. Never. That's why if you're in our world any length of time, we're always coming up with new stuff. We got so much stuff coming you ain't even know. We have so many workshops, masterclasses, trainings, tools, resources. I got dozens of videos I'm creating, and all of them have assets to go with them. And these are all things we can offer, things we can give, things we can sell, all of it. Why? Because we literally spend all of our time thinking about you and the problems you have. And every time we solve a problem, every time we talk to one of you, oh, we can do this and we can help them with that. And, everything becomes a new way to solve. And it's because we're thinking about you. It doesn't become a new job. It's like, oh my God, we got to create this thing. It's like, okay, great. How are we going to solve that problem for them? And then guess what? We get to make money doing it. Right? It's just a huge, awesome way to grow a business. And you need to be thinking about that. Okay? So that's how it works. Okay? The mountaintop experience is tied to the path from this perspective, guys. This is what I want you to think about. High value, lower cost activities. High value, high cost, that's good. That's better than high cost, low value, which is where most people spend their time. Most of the people you talk to are spending their time on what we call red line behaviors, red line activities. Those are things that cost money and deliver less. Your job is to highlight that for them and keep them away from those things so that when they are in that perspective, everything changes. You want them moving up this path as much as possible. Most of the time, it's going to look a lot more like this. And you exist right here. We at Gain the Edge, this is us. So that as you are growing and learning and tripping and falling and having wins and having losses and failures, we don't ever want you falling down here. We want you, our job is to keep you up here. So at least when you fall, you don't fall too far. You just keep moving. That is your job. That is your mission, should you choose to accept it. Cue the Mission Impossible theme. We need to have that ready to go. So every time I just push the button, it goes and fires off. But that's the game we're playing, guys. Okay, you want as many high-value, low-cost activities as you can deliver, and as few low-value, high-cost activities as you can deliver. Guess what? There are some, and you just have to do them. There are certain things that are just grunt work and it needs to be done, or it needs to be delegated to somebody who's going to do them, but you can't ignore them. Okay, so make sure you stay focused on that, and that this is all about creating the path. Okay, now the focus is that a sale gets them in the door. The mountaintop experience keeps them with you for years. We have a tough time. I think entrepreneurs do this a little bit better than salespeople do, but when we're running sales teams, man, it's a challenge sometimes because they want to sell the $15,000 thing. They don't want to sell the $9 book. But we have to help them see. Like for us, the P7 framework is the gig. You can get the P7 framework in, if you want to get it in a book, you get it in a book. And you read it and you implement it at your own place. You can get it in a podcast by checking out our podcast. You can get it on our YouTube channel by consuming all of our videos and then figuring it out. You can get it by signing up for the Business Builders Inner Circle for $67 a month, and you'll be on a journey. It is a longer journey, but it is still a high value journey because everything we teach in those workshops and the masterclasses are the exact things we do with our 7, 8, 9-figure clients. So you're not getting a shortcut at anything, except it's just it's less access to us and over a longer period of time. So it just means you'll get the P7 framework in your business over a long haul. Or you jump into our SOAR sessions, right? In our SOAR environment, and you get 8 touch points with us in a month. And it's a group consulting environment, and we're building things and we're challenging you. We are cracking the whip. Trust me, you're still working. But it's a faster path than the Business Builders Inner Circle, costs a bit more. But it's not as fast as our private clients who are paying us 6 figures a year. And they just have more team and more resources, faster ability to implement and execute. So they're still putting the P7 framework into their business. They're just doing it a little bit faster than other people are. You need to be thinking that same way in your business, right? Get them in the door for $1. And that's what we're trying to show the sales team all the time. You can't just sell them the $15,000 thing or nothing. Get them to buy the book, and then we got them in our world, and now we can start moving them forward. If I can get you to spend $1, I can get you to spend $2, and then I can get you to spend $10, then I can get you to spend $100, and then I can get you to spend $10,000 and then $100,000. But sometimes just get them started with $1. Okay. Here's the key. When do you need a lifetime journey and a mountaintop experience? You are suffering from flatline client experience, most likely. And when clients can't see the big picture, they bounce. So your job is to show them the mountaintop consistently so that they know there's a reason for them to stick around. And guess what? Sometimes they're deciding between, do I buy this thing from you or someone else? But because you don't just have this thing, you have all the things behind it that are going to serve them next month, next year, etc. That could push them over the line to your side versus buying the one thing from this other person, because they already know you're prepared to solve this and more, right? It gives an impression of increase. It tells them that you're on the ball and you've got some things figured out, okay? So when and why do you need it, right? You want to keep clients from leaving. You want it when clients don't refer. And I'm not saying nobody refers. I'm saying if it's not something you can predict, and you can say, yeah, I get 4 clients a month, I get clients every single week from referrals because you got a system that delivers it, then you can't say clients refer, because they don't. That means someone referred, but it doesn't mean clients refer. Okay? If you're stuck selling the same product over and over, right, then you need to be thinking about a lifetime experience. When, right? Why would you need it? Right? You got to give them an early win. You got to give them an early win. I think we actually got the why and the when mixed up, but that's okay. You get the picture. During the onboarding, show them. You got to always show them. If you're in our world, anybody, raise your hand. Anybody who's been in our world that has seen me talk about the lifetime journey and the stuff that we do at least once. How about more than once? Right? Yeah, we talk about it all the time. We talk about it nonstop, and you need to as well. Okay? So whenever you're putting a new offer, when you're increasing prices, when you're repositioning what you do, lifetime journey, lifetime journey, lifetime journey. Constantly show them the big picture. Okay, so let's get you to do the math on a few things right now. Okay, what's the math on what you're losing? Retention revenue equals peace, profits, and power. Peace, profits, and power. Who can use a little bit more peace? Anybody want a little bit more peace? A little bit more profit? A little bit more power and strength in your business, in your positioning? Right? And how you're showing up, how you're seen, and how you're known. answer these questions. Write these down. How many clients have left you too early? Put a number to it. 2? 22? 202? Don't tell me it's none, because that's a lie from the pit of hell, right? We know that's not true, right? How many people have left you? You need to put numbers to it for your own benefit. How many clients have left you too early? Just guess if you have to. Okay? How many of them solved one problem and left before you got a chance to solve the next one? Simply because they didn't know you solved that problem. Now put a dollar value to it. How much would it be worth to you if only 30% of those people who left? Actually, before I do that, how many, put in the chat, how many people have left? 10? 20? 100? Brian, 100? Too many. The too many is not a number. Give me a number, Linda. How many? I want you guys to look at this stuff because you got to know. Right? Many folks are so polar. Absolutely, Jake, but give me a number. We all get very romanticized about these things. We underestimate, we overestimate. You guys need to start looking at numbers. You guys have to start looking at numbers in your business from the exact perspectives. Half. But okay, you said half and you said many. That's good. All right. Is it half? Is that exact for you? You got 50% of your people are have retention. You also you have a SaaS product too, right? So that helps. That's good. That's a good retainer. You guys all want to have something that people can stick into, some sort of membership, some sort of retention offer, right? We'll work on that. All right, but I want you thinking about it so you have good clarity around what that number is. Now, put a dollar. If you could have only saved 30% of those people, if those 30% of people could have stayed an additional 12 months in your world, what would that be worth to you in dollars and cents? Do the math. If you don't want to share it, you don't have to. If it might give you too much of a gasp, that's all right. But I want you to think about it because I want to get you, I'm going to be moving here a little bit behind. But start thinking about this. Put a dollar value to the people who've left. Okay? So here's the deal. Here's the 4 keys that you need to build the mountaintop experience, right? You need your bold promise, your mountaintop experience. What is the plant your flag mountaintop experience in your world? 2, what are the benchmarks along the way, the milestones? 3, what is the stuff you will do? What is the stuff you won't do? Where are your boundaries? And 4, what's the tail revenue? Know your revenue models. Know how you keep people. You need to have an intro offer, a core offer, and a retention offer. Retention offers are where profit is built. Profit is built in retention offers. You make your money. You usually get back what you put out in terms of effort and energy and sacrifice in your upfront fees. Your money over time can start building into your profit margins, but your freedom and your wealth is built with tail revenue. So you need to be thinking that stuff through. Okay. Income pays the bills. Tail revenue builds wealth. Right, so I want you to be thinking about where do you start on this? Just get your plant your flag exercise dialed in. Let's make sure that you have yours, even if you just hand draw it to start with, you get it there, but you're going to have yours designed and ready to go and built at the workshop if you want it. Okay, so the selling to the mountaintop workshop is the key, is where you need to be. Right, what do you want first? Right? Do you want to have benchmarks and milestones? Do you want to have clients coming in the door right from the beginning, knowing that there's a reason for them to stay for a long time and then preparing to make it happen? Or do you just want to sell them the thing that they want to buy, being a product in search of a prospect? Okay, that's a tougher way to go. You make the choice. All right. So I want to invite you to join us at this Selling to the Mountaintop experience. Okay. So far in this masterclass, I'm hoping you've seen the cost of not having a mountaintop experience, right? In terms of client loss, revenue churn, and offer chaos, because you're always trying to figure out what to sell next, right? In the 3-hour workshop, we're going to deliver and help you build yours, your promise, your path, your retention strategy, mapped out in real time and installed. So you will have a working copy, and progress, and ready to freaking roll with it. But I want to invite you to be part of Founding Member Business Builders Inner Circle. This is the last workshop we're going to offer for free. And so the rest of them are going to be $97. And unless you have various discounts, but you either way, they'll be paid, you're paying for them. And the monthly Business Builders Inner Circle is founder price of $67, which includes the workshop and the masterclass, closing with certainty calls that we do once a month, and a get it done sessions with Cindy. So with our operations and then our operations team, and then closing with certainty with me or one of our coaches. But you are going to be getting conversion help. You're going to have building implementation workshops once a month, and then masterclass like this, bringing in the concepts and the ideas that you need to be living in your business. But I can't think of a better deal on the planet than $67 a month to get access to us and all of the things that we bring you, all of our wisdom, expertise, and experience, so that you can scale your business to become profitable and a business that you can sell for profit or keep for pleasure, and change the game and give you a much more enjoyable path to success. So that is the wrap for the training today, so that you can see the importance of how that revenue plays, or excuse me, that retention plays in your revenue path, in your revenue journey. And I hope we have made the case for you to do whatever is necessary to ensure that you are designing a lifetime journey and always selling the lifetime journey of what it's like to win in your world. And whatever role we can play in that, we are honored to do. So, questions. What questions do you got? You should have some. If not, then I missed something. Where it's got you stuck, trying to figure it out. Where are you with your lifetime journey? And where is a better deal than $67 a month? So, who wants to be a founding member? Let us know. But what questions do you have? What do you see? What's your takeaways? What are your ahas? Eric Johnson, what are you seeing? What are you taking away?
I love the lifetime journey, and being in your world for a long time, I've gone through it in the past. So mine's more of a higher level question. How often should we go back and evaluate our lifetime journey, mountaintop experience? And how once we evaluate it, how should we refine it?
Good question. Really, anytime there's going to be a change. So as you're working with clients and they're giving you, you're getting more insights into the nuance of the problems that they are experiencing, and you've maybe had a portion of that problem solved, but now you realize you need to go and refine it, then you should look at the whole prospect. Where does this fit? Maybe you're, is that problem being solved at the right time and the right place in the journey? Is this a problem? Is this a solution that you want to solve? Is this a solution that you have time to solve, or is somebody else better suited to do it, right? So anytime you're going to add something or take something away, you should just constantly evaluate the whole process again. Because every time you learn and evolve and grow, then you just have a different perspective on how to get people through that journey. And so it's something that you should be, even if it's not already done, you're going to usually be prompted to have things to think about, because as you gain a client, lose a client, et cetera, you should be looking at it. But if something isn't prompting you for it, you should have it on your calendar to look at least just take a look at it quarterly.
So like your
milestones
might be in the wrong spot, or you might add a milestone here or there. If there's something preventing them from getting to milestone 3, something may need to go in between 2 and 3 to help them get there.
Yeah.
And then, or if everybody completes their 90 days, their 4 months, or their year, and they thank you and they leave. Like, they're not done. Nobody's ever done. So why didn't they? What didn't you provide as clear next steps?
Yeah, as I'm looking at my process and remember doing this when we were in Tahoe, definitely time to go and revamp that entire thing now that I'm making the pivot that I am. So great. Loved it. Thank you.
Good. Dr. Simon. You are muted, my friend.
I mean, I clearly can see so many, just because I did not have a mountaintop view is because, I'm just so much close to the tree that I'm not giving them that forest picture basically. And yes, people, as soon as they get better, they think it's over, and I didn't even offer them, and they just want to leave, and they think this. And I have so many success stories, like tons of them. Pretty much everyone who's left, it's not that they left because they're not getting better. They got what they wanted, and then I did not have anything carved out for them as the next step.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because you could do your version of this, but like when we're growing sales teams, it's like people come in, we got to first go in and fix all their systems and structures and processes, revamp their offers. Then we put in a sales manager, sales captain. Then we recruit sales teams. But our mission is not to be there forever. It's to get them so systematized and structured that then we can recruit a sales captain that can stay internal for them, because their sales captains work for us, right? And then ultimately we're working ourselves out of that job. But then the long-term play is we continue to consult with them as they grow, that hopefully we grow them towards an exit or something more profitable for them. But we let them know that from the beginning. Otherwise, they're just thinking, how fast can I stop paying them, right? I don't want to have to pay them more, so I think I'm healthy, I'm good, right? But if you show them, hey, this is the journey, and once you are healthy, then we teach you how to maintain it. Then we teach you how to prevent ever getting sick again, or that we teach you how to diagnose and deduce your own problems. So you can show them the journey that could take them for the next 5 years being in your world, and it just maybe means they see you less often, but that they stay in your world for reasons. And then of course, when they stay in your world, there's always some other reason they might want to jump into something, because maybe they want to climb, Mount Shasta or something, and they want to, grab you for a different type of health treatment and preparation. But the mission is to show them a path to staying in your world. And then of course, with the results that you get them, it makes it easier to do that. But it's fun to do that too, because then you're kind of dream building with people, right? You're always showing them, hey, there's something great coming, and we want to be part of it, right? Because the hard part is when you're solving big problems, it's great, but that's the dirty work. That's where you get banging your knuckles and you're scraping your knees and you're doing stuff. The long-term stuff is you're not breaking your knuckles and skinning your knees. That's profit. That's the stuff that's your reward for the hard work you did up front. So you have to start seeing that you've earned it. And most people don't. Most people have a tough time. They feel like, well, I can't charge them more unless I'm giving them more of my soul. And it's like, well, not necessarily. You've already done that in the beginning. But now they already understand how you work. They understand how you communicate. They understand how to operate in your world. So that it should require less time of you to solve problems for them as you continue to grow. That doesn't mean you've earned less reward. Right? When you can solve problems quicker or with less intervention of you, that's because your wisdom has been deployed and you've earned every penny of that. Anybody got an aha in that? Is that a takeaway? Too many times we think, oh, I could solve that fast, so I shouldn't charge for it. No, that should probably be the thing you charge the most for.
I mean, I just did a discovery call yesterday with this person who's really about quick fix kind of a thing. He's already self-diagnosed himself. So I could see in his thing that he wants a cut to the chase approach. And so I did not even talk about the long 8-month thing. So I said, okay, why don't we just get in you for just 1 hour? I didn't even offer him 2 hours so that I could assess his, like gunshot approach. And he said, I just want to get this test done. In my head, I thought, okay, so he just basically wants to have this addressed. So I basically said, okay, just come in for this thing, and we can do some of these tests which are geared toward this thing, and then we can start you on another thing. Of course, being a physician and dealing with patients, you don't want to ever promise something that you don't know the outcomes. It's like somebody has cancer and you say, oh, yes, the figures, how well people do. So I guess one thing I should resolve in my head that I should promise based upon the zillions of patients that had great outcomes through that route versus worrying about what if this was that outlier.
So let me give you a different perspective. You don't have to promise them anything from your delivery. You just let their own eyes convince them of the right thing. So tell me, Dr. Saima, if you saw somebody doing these 10 things and somebody saw somebody doing these 10 things, which one do you think would have a greater chance of surviving, living a healthy, long life? They're going to tell you that person, yeah, that's why, because, and you're going to identify they are on a protocol, they're following a proven path, they're working with an expert, keeping them on check. Because anybody in their right mind, even this guy who's in a hurry to get it done, he's going to go, yeah, that guy's got a greater chance to win than that guy. Saying, this is the guy that works in my world. These are the patients that work with us. They always have a higher chance of success because they have all of these things done. So you're not saying, I guarantee you this. You're saying, this is the experience we create, and you've already identified that this kind of experience leads to a stronger likelihood of the right outcome. Right? That way you don't have to promise anything.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like interesting how you're wording it a different way, and I probably could definitely word that way, because I put in the way of commitment that, if I were to see you today and not after 4 months, and then you randomly showed up after 4 months, and again, after 4 months, so basically in 1 year, you randomly saw each other 2 times. Do you think we'll get anywhere in this process? And people say, well, no. I said, that is the whole point of why we actually have a program, so that we have this rigor and you get your results faster, because we're addressing things every month, and we're just, implementing things one after the other, so that you can be on a fast track towards healing.
Yeah.
Versus that you just did randomly something, and then you did random and, implementation of things, and it will give you random results.
Yeah, just play with the wording. Program implies a product, implies something with a box.
I like the way you said it, so probably I will listen to the recording and probably have your transcript and copy and paste and word it in that way, because I like the way you put it, and I can come up with those 10 things as comparison. And I guess I'm really into this visual thing that you opened up me to, that the visual, I have visuals, but in my office, when they come in front of me, I show them a lot of visuals. And it's interesting how I make a lot of visuals in general all the time, but they're like secretly hidden in my office. And they're not shown to the patients when I'm talking the first time. Yeah. So they're not aware of those visuals. And I've thought about it that, I'm on the phone, why not make it a Zoom call and be done with it, and make a little presentation around that, so that they can follow you as they see you.
Totally. Absolutely. Great. I love that. Good job. Yeah. Who else has got some input? I see Eric, you got a good little thread going here. Comment. You guys should all be thinking about this as you're creating and even just visualizing your lifetime journey. You should automatically be going back to clients, past and present, going back to people. We have a team right now that we're working with. They've got like 600 past clients, well, current and past clients. And we're creating an alumni program from nothing. So it's brand new offer, and going back to all of them. And we just today came across the founder just got invited to be some sort of promotion partner at the Indianapolis 500. And so he's reaching out to these clients and say, hey, who wants to buy a sponsor? Who wants to buy an opportunity to come and do this? And we thought that's the perfect initiation. We're going to launch the alumni program, saying this is the kind of stuff that you get access to when you join the alumni program. So now that you've graduated, you want to stay in our circle, because we get access to this stuff all the time because of who we're connected to, the circles that we run in, and you will be right there to be participating in this stuff with me. So boom, right? So, but he had a whole pool of people, got 600 people that can be access to this. So I would be stunned if we don't sell 20 of those, right? So same thing, you have, as you're thinking through the lifetime journey, where you're going with it, now you go back to all your people, and it's, what are you going to say when you reach out to them? Linda, what are you going to say when you reach out to them? I was thinking about you and I had an idea, right? That's the go-to all the time, 100% open rate. Okay. Beth, what do you got?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hi, everybody. Just a thought. At the beginning of, or much earlier in the presentation, you were talking about, losing people as they fall off as time goes on. And I'm kind of paraphrasing, not trying to quote you, but you said something to the effect of, we didn't tell them that we could do this.
Yes.
They didn't know. So I offer to everybody, the solution to that is never be afraid to ask, but faint. They can identify what they need. And then suddenly you realize, possibly, aha, I can do that. I can help you with that. And rather than always trying to be the teacher, if you will, which we want to be, we want to be the leader, the student, your client, often guides you to your own better path. And you realize, I can do that. I can do that. And if it's of value to this person, like you're talking about this alumni group, it could be of value to everybody. So it's not playing the game of, I know it all. I know what you need. I'm going to tell you what you need. I'm going to ask you. So with the doctor, you said, you asked her a question. What if you said this? What if you offered this path and this path? Which do you think? That's constant discovery. And that's so much part of the continuing development of a relationship and the trust. And that's what they buy into. That's what it is that makes them want to continue to engage. And with the possibility and knowing that there always is something more. So I always say, use your clients, use your customers, use your patients to learn from, because I've discovered so much about additional skills that you go, well, that's not really the core of what I do. But then you realize from one client, aha, I can do something very special for that person, for that patient, for that customer. And everybody loves to be taken out of the box, if you will, and be treated on an exclusive, special basis. Make them feel special. Trust me, they are. They are. Each and every one is special. But when you say that, not so much about always telling, ask.
Yeah, well, like I said, that was a good example, right? With 𝗪𝗎, it's like you're asking, you're helping. You don't have to tell, because you don't want to. You're not showing up to give him a promise. You're showing up to give him clarity, and clarity requires extracting wisdom from people. Like, what do they see? What do they know? What do they need? And the other, the other side of the coin that Beth was just talking about is, I would be cautious to come up with too much customization for people. However, if you find out that there are parts and pieces of things that people need to be customized and you don't want to have to do it because it costs, I will tell you guys, anytime you start customizing for people, that's the most expensive work you do. So you can decide for yourself, is this something you want to do, or do you want to bring a partner in who's great at that doing things? So you don't have to create a whole new process to support one client. Now, then you get like us. We create something custom, and then we go, oh, great, now we got to go find 10 other people to sell this to because I didn't want to just create it for one person. Now you've got this whole other little bitty bucket of your list that's costing you time, effort, and energy. It can become a problem. So think this stuff through ahead of time and know people in your network that you can say, oh, you know what, that would be great. You want that? I have a partner I'm going to bring in who can totally deliver that for you. They can give you all their attention because I don't have the bandwidth to give you that attention, but I want to make sure you get that problem solved. Right? And so you're still caring for them. You're still giving them something custom. You just didn't put your hands on to deliver it. Right? So just always keep thinking through. That's why the mountaintop process is always in play. Ours is always open. I got it literally printed out on my desk. We're always having it because I'm always thinking it through. Who else fits? Who else fits? Who else needs this? And then when you get to a place where more people need it than one, then you do a workshop. You do a masterclass. You do a thing, right? So it's just a great decision-making tool to allow you to serve people really well. So yeah, good wisdom, Beth. All right. Any other questions? What's coming up for you guys?
Something occurred to me, Jim, and that is the outcome engineering of it. Because so many times we build from where we are and the next thing we can do for a client, right? But if we go to the mountaintop, which I love that you use that mountaintop experience and look back to create those things, then we are also communicating it, which you absolutely touched on. We have to be able to communicate it with them and ask them, well, where do you want to be? On the mountaintop yet? Are you ready for that? If not, here we can put you in here, but then they've already seen that there's a journey. And I love that communication is clear.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you. Another part of that is your mountaintop experience should be based on where you've gone, or absolute open clarity and honesty that that's where you're going. There's nothing wrong. People will absolutely pay you to lead them to know that they're not on this journey alone, even if you haven't been there. But someone's taking responsibility to navigate the path. Hey, look, I'm researching the path. I'm researching the way. I'll make sure we got enough food and water. I'll make sure that this is going to happen. Your job is to do the work and stay with me. Right? So don't feel like you have to, oh, I can't sell this because I haven't been there. Not really. How many things have you thought about so much that if it's damn near real? It's already happened in your mind. You've read the books, you've watched the movie, you've seen the YouTubes, you've done the research. You're way ahead of these guys because they haven't. Right? So it's not fraud unless you're lying. As long as you tell them, this is where we're going. I'm prepared. Here's how I know we're going to make it. I know, I've got 5 other mentors who've led me there, blah, 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 whatever. You can tell them the story. But the main thing they want to know is they want to follow somebody with certainty. And so when you say, man, that's where we're going. Do you want to come with me? I got you. This is all they're looking for. Doesn't matter what you're selling, guys. Every single time you're selling the same thing. Certainty. I'm standing here with my hand out saying, come with me. I got you. Trust me. Do you trust me?
Yeah. What's great about the mountaintop and the journey is it really supports you in fulfillment because there is no straight line. That may be your mountaintop, and like Jim shared, it's going to be like this, and you get to bring people back. And like, remember in our conversation, we talked, it would be a lot of this, especially in the first 90 days, the first 6 months we're together. When we sign clients and we say, we're going to come in and run your sales division, we always tell them, like, the first 90 days, not pretty. And we're going to do a lot of freaking work.
Well, break some
stuff. And you're probably going to wonder why you brought us in. And we're going to get better every month. And then a year from now, you're not even going to recognize it. You're going to think we're the best thing ever, because we are. But we set those expectations. It's going to be hard. I think that's important for every business owner to remember. I believe that we've lived in this fairy tale land of online businesses and all these promises of 90-day cures and businesses built in 60 days and millions overnight and passive income. I don't know, man. I'm really smart, pretty successful. I work my ass off. Just don't see it ending. And what would I do? What would any of us do? We have too much to contribute in life and to humanity.
I had one more thing, Jim, and that is that clients have amnesia. I mean, it only if we're doing our job right. If we do our job right, they forget how bad it was because they're like, oh, I don't remember ever being that way. And they don't honestly remember that you got them there in some ways. So it is really our job to document in our notes everywhere where they felt that they were when they started, so that we can push that button again later when we want to, let's say, re-up them or show them the next path and say, well, I kind of got here sort of with you. They sort of feel that way. And to remind them, well, here's where you came from. Let me just remind you what was there. And that also helps you in writing the testimonials for them and sending them out and saying, well, here's an example testimonial. So, and sometimes they just sign it and send it back, right? Because you tell them where they were and how they what they are doing or feeling now.
Amen to that.
I agree with you. I had a woman who came to me for her son was not growing tall, and she was always concerned. And we looked at her bone, like age, gave him these peptides, and he got a 5'7". And then she all said, well, he was always 5'7", and I was very upset that no, he wasn't 5'7", because the kid was looking different. I could tell he looked taller and as tall as his. So you're very right. It was just a few months. It wasn't even years. Just a few months. And she was actually my community member. So I was giving her special concessions and whatever I was doing. So I was a little taken aback and upset, but you're right, amnesia.
Yeah. And the whole mountaintop experience is a good visual to always show them, hey, remember when you were down there? Remember how many times you tripped and fell and kept falling down that same slope? Remember, it's like constant reminder, because it is, man, they spend all this time, effort, and energy working with you. And then months down the road or years down the road, they're in a totally different spot. They're like, why am I still paying you all this money? You're like, because you were over there. And without us, that's where you still lie in ruins over there, right? Now we're moving to something else, right? But it's your job to be the CRO, right? The chief reminding officer of everything that's going on. So we're going to call this a wrap unless you have any more questions, or if you want to, if you drew any years out, you got any questions about any of those spots along yours or your mountaintop experience, I'm always open to see them. Drop them in the Facebook group. For those who are in the community, drop them in the community inside of our source online community, and let's make sure that you're moving in action. Please register, get to the workshop. I would love to see you in the Business Builder Inner Circle. Great way for you to take for a low risk investment. If we can't deliver you an ROI on $67 a month, either we suck or you suck or something's going on there, but we need to make sure that we're addressing that, because you should get massive ROI on $67 a month if that's where you want to take a low risk and jump in and see what we can do for you. If this is any indication, if you've been around a lot, you know that we pour our hearts out into all of these trainings and deliver everything that we can for you and make sure that it's working. So on behalf of Cindy and the team, thank you as always for trusting us to be part of your success team. And we just can't wait to see you win. We're here for you to win, make great impact and a ton of money. Just go change the world. Boom, boom. All right. Adios.